Recent successes of Russian economy is an awe for many economists all over the world. Men with diabetes make the best soldiers. Soon, Russia will manufacture war robots. 5-year plans are back to Russia and back to the USSR. Most Western companies have left, but one is increasing its presence. Guess what company is that? Guess. Microsoft cutting access to its technology for large Russian companies. But the Russians say, hey, it's not a big deal. Everything is going according to the plan. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you important news updates that I find that they explain what's really happening in Russia. What you will not find here is BS, propaganda, and lies. What you will find is common sense, truth, and logic and emotions, because I'm a human being. And you will also find some news today, some strange news, and they're really strange. And it's unclear whether we should laugh or shed tears when we hear this news. I call them plain and simple, mad circus news. And please let me know in the stream, after the stream is over, in the comments, if you find them funny or tragic. So, without further ado, I would like to jump into the news because there are quite a few of them. Actually, folks, all this week I was giving you pretty intense stuff, pretty intense news coming out of Russia. Belgorod, church and the state, how Russia changed, intense stuff. But I figured, hey, today is Friday. We need something to cheer up. And here you have it. Let's jump into the good news. The first news is actually very uplifting. I quote Vladimir Putin, what he said today. Politicians and economists, ordinary citizens of foreign countries are surprised by the positive processes that are happening in the Russian economy. Yeah, I heard that. I really started feeling much better. Okay. I've been telling you all this crazy stuff about what's happening in the Russian economy, and then everything is crossed out by Vladimir Putin, comes out and says, this stuff is so great that everyone is surprised by what's happening. I figured it's like Titanic's captain standing on the very top of Titanic and looking around the chaos that what is happening, and the Titanic is angling down and everyone is screaming and trying to find a lifeboat, and the captain is looking at that and goes, I'm really surprised by the positive processes that are happening on my ship Titanic, Vlad, please give us some of that good stuff that you are drinking. It's Friday night. We need that, Perhaps we'll get surprised by the positive processes too, along with you, at least until tomorrow's morning. Moving on. Russian government demanded today something. So the manufacturers must learn how to produce chips, machines, and robots in Russia 7 years from now. By 2030, scientists must increase the number of inventions by 140%. No more, no less, 140%. That is according to the newly accepted concept of technological development of Russian Federation. It's really unclear who must learn how to produce chips, which scientists must increase number of inventions what chips, what inventions. But hey, that's not important, okay? What's important is the demand. The demand has been made. We demand. Даешь. It's definitely a mad circus news. But wait, perhaps the next news will explain this. Vladimir Putin was making a speech today at a business conference called Delovaya Россия. And let me quote the man. In Russia, it is necessary to declare a 5-year period of entrepreneurial creative work. Now, I'll read slowly so you understand what I'm saying. 5-year period of entrepreneurial creative work. Declare and fill it not with some official or quasi-official events for the show only, but fill it with concrete, substantial work. Improve the business climate in Russia, correct the investment climate, identify real problems and solve them consistently. Modernize economic sectors and industries. I kid you not, that's what he said. Putin's appeal. Hang on one second. Putin's appeal is absolutely wonderful. I'm trying to think how I am to comment what he said. It'd be nice that if someone approached Vladimir Putin and told him that waging a war on your neighbor negates any effort of improving the business climate. Before improving the business climate, you need to stop the war and make something that all international sanctions are uplifted, and probably no one would trust you, so it probably would have to be somebody else, okay? And thousands of businessmen in prison also really do not add attractiveness to Russia's investment climate. To fix that problem, one of the solutions is an independent court system is needed. Independent courts that would not be afraid to refuse to arrest the businessmen who are charged by the KGB. But Vladimir Putin is allergic to independence like that, so I don't think that's happening. This news of this Putin's appeal remind me something that I saw a long time ago. 5-year plans of Soviet Union's planned economy. So to Putin, that must be normal news because he likes the USSR, but to the rest of us, this is 100% the mad circus news. Moving on. Michelin tire manufacturer, French tire manufacturer. It's a large company that operates all over the world, and it had a very strong presence in Russia. I always use Michelin tires. So Michelin sold its Russian business to the domestic partner called Power International Tires, a Russian company. Michelin's losses from leaving Russia like that and selling his manufacturing and selling his Russian business on pennies for dollars, the losses will amount to tens of millions of euro. Jobs lost, technologies taken away from Russia, taxes unpaid, not so wonderful. This is usual news for a change. It's not mad circus. This is what has been happening in Russia for a long time. But the next news is kind of crazy. fashion apparel American company called Guess bought out and increased its presence in Russia, bought out a share of its Russian partner. So now it owns business 100% itself. So the transaction amount is rather small, only 8 million euro. But this is the first time in about a year when a foreign brand, an American company, actually increases its assets in Russia. And to me, that definitely is a mad circus news. Moving on. Microsoft has cut off access to its services, and in particular Outlook, Teams, Word, and Excel to a large Russian company called Azon. Azon is Russian Amazon. Same thing. The shutdown is due to the fact that Microsoft learned that Azon has used licenses purchased in a runabout way, not in a very legal way, so to speak, which is kind of normal news in Russia these days because it's called the parallel import. And the piracy is legalized, okay? It's what's considered illegal for Microsoft to Russians is normal, business as usual. Now, before the war, it was also illegal, of course. People, got prison terms for that, but it's okay now. So that is kind of normal news in Russia. Again, Microsoft is one of the over 1,000 companies that have left Russia. But what's a crazy mad circus news is that Azon came back, followed up that shutdown, and said everything is normal. All computers are working, nothing is disturbed. I guess they're learning from the very best on top. Everything is going according to Azon's plan. Moving on. Both diabetes and cardiovascular disease will not be grounds for exemption from mobilization and serving in the army, said Alexander Sergoventsev, deputy head of the main military medical doctorate of the Russian Defense Ministry. He said that everyone has chronic diseases. So the department is not going to expand the list of ailments that are exemptions to the service. As a result, about 40,000 people with chronic diabetes and chronic cardiovascular heart diseases will be mobilized. That's how many people are exempt now due to those diseases, but hey, not too long. But of course, how can we doubt that decision of the Ministry of Defense? The diabetics, people with chronic heart diseases, they make excellent soldiers, stronger soldiers than regular healthy men. Okay, that's a know-how of the Russian army men. They might need to shoot insulin every few hours. But, in the Russian army, the officers just imagine it's doping. Fantastic soldiers, huh? This actually is a scary mad circus news. But moving on now. The sports, all the sports, in particular ice hockey. The Russians love ice hockey. Ice hockey to Russians is something like ice hockey to Canadians. And there are some good ice hockey players that have come out of Russia. Alexander Ovechkin is threatening, this Wayne Gretzky record right now. So the news came out today that the Russian national ice hockey team is not expected in the international competitions in the next 5 years, at least. Not welcomed, not wanted. And this is the main decision of the Congress of International Ice Hockey Federation that has just taken place. The council members said it would be years before Russian and Belarusian hockey teams would return into IIHF international competitions. The council members also noted that it does not depend on the timing and on the outcome of the end of the conflict in Ukraine. In other words, even after the Ukraine is free of Russian troops, and the war is over, Russian hockey national team will still not be let into the international competitions. Let me remind you something. When the war started and the sanctions, they just were getting started, being placed upon Russia on every single area of life and imaginable possible, then lots of Russians were very loud and aggressive and saying, "Oh, as soon as it's over, and it's going to be over in a couple of weeks, they all will come back. They will let us back in because they cannot do their things without us." Well, it turns out they can. It turns out that the hockey world can do great without Russian national team. I mean, it's sad for Russians, but hey, they can, and they're doing it. And no, it's not going to end as soon as the war is over. That's going to last for a long time. And you got to be absolutely stupid not to understand that. And it's not just about hockey. And it's not just about sports. It's about everything. The sanctions will not be lifted immediately after the war is over. It's going to take years, perhaps decades, perhaps generations for sanctions or some sanctions to be lifted. That is absolutely crazy mad circus news. Normal from the side of IIHF, but absolutely crazy on the Russian side. Moving on. Now I'd like to talk about electric vehicles. Folks, remember I told you I made shorts on YouTube. I made videos about Russian car making industry, and I told you that it's not doing well. I told you there are two major problems. First problem, how do I say that? All car manufacturers have left Russia. And most of them, most majors, they had manufacturing plants. All German companies had, American companies had, they all left. They have either sold their manufacturing facilities for pennies on dollars or they forfeited them. For example, Renault, a French company, sold its Russian business, a huge plant in Moscow, for €1. It lost around 3 or 4 billion euros on that deal, but they lost. They were honest to themselves. They showed the world their business ethic, and all companies have left, and that is a big problem because there are very few Russian manufacturers. There is one that produces cars and one that produces trucks, Kamaz and Lada. And these both manufacturers, they don't produce much because, as it turns out, they weren't really Russian. The Russian manufacturers, but they relied heavily on auto parts that were imported from other countries. And now no one supplies those parts, and Russian cars are simply not being made. Okay? Of course, the Chinese, they come to Russia and they say, well, we're going to help you manufacture Russian cars. So they basically bring their Chinese cars, they change the brand name into Moskvich, and they put wheels on and they screw them on, and voila, a Russian car is born. So anyway, that's a mad circus news by itself. But what I'm about to say is that forget about all the troubles that Russian car making industry had in the past. Russian car making industry is back with a big bang, because there are plans on manufacturing a brand new, technologically advanced, breakthrough electrical vehicle called Atom. Atom, Russian electric car. That's gonna be a marvel. Like Putin said, everyone, all people, gonna be in awe, looking at that car, saying, "Wow, what a marvel! Look what humanity has achieved." Anyway, the thing is, there's no money, so Russians need technology and money because they don't have anything, right? So they decided to attract a foreign investment, and miraculously, they have succeeded. A British electric car company that is registered in Luxembourg, and it is called Arrival. Okay, it's very interested in helping out the Russians build their first electric car, Atom. Well, I looked at this company, Arrival. Kind of strange, right? It's like Guess. Guess is the only company, American company, that's actually came to the Russian market while everyone has been leaving. And what is this? Second company, Arrival, British company? Wait a second, not so fast. This company was formed by a former owner of a Russian cell phone company called Yota and ex-minister of Russian Ministry of Communications, Denis Sverdlov. He got quite a bit of investments from different Western companies, including Amazon and Kia and Hyundai. And in 2022, he failed to deliver everything. Well, the company failed to deliver everything. It was unable to organize any production. And stock of Arrival has fallen by 130 times, and the company is on the verge of bankruptcy. Well, Russian trace is definitely there. But that doesn't stop this Atom people. They go forward. They're very goal-oriented, They have made a presentation. We have already heard something. I have already heard something like that before. There was a presentation of a Russian breakthrough bullet-fast train. Turned out to be a Chinese toy, but hey, forget, that's a different story. This Atom is a real deal. So there was a Ford plant in Naberezhnaya Chelny that is basically idle now because Ford has left Russia. And they want to use that Ford plant to produce Atom. Okay. They're looking for like $400 million investment. And I think at this point, there's $400 million missing. So if they somehow get some money, I'm pretty sure it's going to be spent before the production begins because it's Russia, okay? But anyway, Arrival or not, this Atom, who is it designed for? Like they say in the presentation, it's designed for a number of urban hipsters. Kind of people who walk around in big cities, rich Russian cities, Moscow and St. Petersburg, with Apple tablets and, with MacBooks and with iPhones. But wait a second. Where are those people right now? Oh, I don't think any left in Russia. If I, tomorrow morning, and when I, tomorrow morning, walk out of my apartment and go to have a breakfast, I will see all those hipsters in Tashkent around me. They occupy all the breakfast cafes, they have breakfast, they meet, and I know personally quite a few of them. So, hey, manufacture your atom and send it straight to Uzbekistan, to Armenia, to Georgia, to Kazakhstan. Where are those hipsters living right now? You know what? You might face a little competition. There's so many Chinese electric vehicles right here in Tashkent, and they're actually very good. I use them a lot because most cabs in Tashkent are EVs. I'm not sure how you're gonna produce your atom. Well, that's Russia for you. Moskvich is selling tremendously well in Russia. Moskvich also has the electric vehicle line. I think it's called Moskvich 3H, something like that. And they sold whooping 39 cars already. That's a success. So we'll see. To me, this atom, it sounds like absolutely mad circus news. But let's move on. Let's move on. You know, I must admit, and I must apologize to you. Sometimes I give you information that is too heavy, too difficult to understand, too difficult to comprehend, too difficult even to hear. That information is about Russian economy. I give you numbers, I give you, trends, I give you facts. I'm sorry. Well, the Russian government has seen that and it's decided to help me out a little bit. Just kind of send me a message saying, hey, Konstantin, stop doing that. Don't do that. People don't like that. It's too complicated, okay? Well, the government of Russian Federation temporarily stops publishing statistics on oil, gas, and gas condensate production. This order, executive order by, Russian Prime Minister, suspends all statistical publications until April 1st, 2024. Disclosure of monthly data has been prohibited since March. Yeah. And quarterly reported has been prohibited since it was the last time announced for the first quarter of this year, 2023. So you see, I made my analysis based on that data that they still published, but no more. There are those are important economic numbers. Without them, it's really difficult to make an independent analysis. For example, you cannot forecast real GDP without those numbers. But I think that's not just a message to me, but it's to all Russians, okay? I'm just thinking too much of myself. I'm sorry. I'm not the only one who's looking at the numbers. Russian people also looking at the numbers. And this is a message. Hey, folks, don't load yourself up with useless stuff, right? Relax. Go home. Drink up vodka. Sit in front of the TVs. Watch movies, news, propaganda, RT. What else do you need? Why do you need to look at these numbers? Okay, come on. Thank you, Russian government. Thank you. You've just helped us out a lot. So on April 26th, it's been quite a while, I just learned, Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin signed this decree. Росстат published a report on the industrial production for the first quarter of 2023 that I used for my analysis. Without that data on oil production in Russia, no more, no less. Previously, of course, it was always included. Now let's go back to the beginning of the stream a little bit. And now I understand more why Vladimir Putin said that people all over the world are in awe of the success of Russian economy. the stats, the statistical data on production of oil in Russia is actually so good, it's so positive, it's so strong that the government doesn't want to show it to everyone, the foreigners, the Russians, so people would not get too overly excited and they would get heart attacks of the good news, you see, of that excellent statistics. So very human of Vladimir Putin. Thank you so very much. And of course, this news lands into the category of mad circus news, at least for me. The next news is quite something else, folks. I don't even know how to present it to you. I watched a video today, and a Russian senator, a member of the upper chamber of Russian parliament, Soviet Federации, from Primorsky Krai, that's a province bordering the Pacific to the very east, she admitted that some of her colleagues, meaning other senators, other representatives of the upper chamber, got into the upper chamber in exchange for money. I kid you not, I watched the video when she admitted it. There was the entire chamber, all the senators sitting and listening to her, and she said, we're all different, and we got here in different ways. Someone came and knocked on the door, someone asked to be taken as a senator, and someone brought the money. That's, I quote, that's what she said. And no one said anything. No one refuted that statement. Everyone was just looking, as everyone was in understanding of everything. I'm just thinking, what if something like that happened in the US Senate or in the UK Parliament, or in the parliament of another country? What would have happened? In Russia, nothing has happened. And to me, that is definitely mad circus news. And moving on, and the last but not least, I was going to say good news, but it's not a good news. It's a news from China. Yes. Forget about Russia for a second. Let's talk about China. China is the new partner of Russian Federation, the savior, so to speak. China is the friend. China is all of that. And that status of China needs to be maintained. And how is it maintained? Of course, top officials of the country visit China, meet the top Chinese politicians, and mingle and create agreements, sign agreements, negotiate on things. At least that's how I see it. Well, I think that the Prime Minister of Russian Federation, Mikhail Mishustin, sees it in the very same way. Because he visited China recently, just, is coming back. And his visit to China turned out to be very strange, unusual. The Chinese authorities, banned their top officials and big businessmen, the heads of large corporations, from meeting with Mikhail Mishustin personally, as well as meeting with ministers who accompanied him, deputy prime ministers, and representatives of state-owned companies who accompanied Mishustin and his, people. Again, the top Chinese authorities banned the Chinese, all Chinese business, government officials from meeting the Russians. Why? Well, they said allegedly because of the they said because of the threat of sanctions. Um, Now let's think about that for a second. The head of Russian government, Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, man number two in Russia, came to Russian-Chinese business forum held in China, but he could not even discuss any business issues, let alone resolve any problems or sign any documents. He went for nothing? Well, yes, but that kind of contradicts with the Russian government party line that China is the savior and the friend of Russia. Kind of sounds strange. But to you, to me, it doesn't. Because when the Russian government says something like, this is white, I automatically know it's black. And when it says it's black, I know it's white. So Chinese have just proved what I have been saying for quite some time, that China is not a friend of Russia, but the enemy. And all it wants is to grab Russian territory, make it own, to return it, so to speak, and get access to Russia's resources. Nothing else, nothing more. And the Chinese have just proved me right. This, in my books, is definitely Mad Circus news. Now, folks, that was my last news, and I would like you to comment. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, in the live stream chat, and in the comments after this live stream is over. Please let me know. What do you find this news? Mad Circus, funny, tragic, It'd be interesting for me to know. I have mixed feelings about them personally. And I'm ready to discuss it in the live stream chat, which I am about to turn on. Thank you for coming. We have about 3,000 people watching, which is awesome. Thank you. I would like to ask you to do me a favor, help me spread my message by making reposts on your social media accounts. That helps a lot. And it'd be nice if you subscribe to the channel, not to miss any further updates. And if you want to buy me coffee, that'd be fantastic. I have an account at buymeacoffee.com. I always appreciate a coffee or two. Thank you. And turning on the live stream chat. Done. If you're not seeing the chat window, please press the refresh button and it should appear. Thank you so much. Give me a second so I arrange the screens. I see that the wonderful mods are here. Lorna and Mommy number one, thank you for coming again. And Blackhead, Amir, Harry Partner, and Bob S. Thank you all. And thank you, usual suspects. Fantastic to see you today again. So, folks, what do you think? Jim Flag, howdy. It is tragic. If you want me to notice your comment or message or question easier, please put your question in caps and put inside Russia after @ so I see it easily, and it jumps into my site highlighted in orange, just like what Jim Flag did. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for highlighting, and thank you for answering. Linda, howdy. Doug, howdy. Mr. Kaliskan, Mario from Croatia, Maryland. Robert, I have a mixed feelings too when it comes to China. Well, would you please explain? Multi-Ducky from Germany and Lord A. Grape from Sweden. I like the name. Airback 820, usual suspect here. Howdy. Most people here are usual suspects, and you definitely are. Thank you so much. Air Flopper, Ariel, build a car called an atom. Faith from Spain, howdy, howdy. Chirper, Aranka, hello. Allison, Ken, Simon, Julie W. Sam K, good to see everyone. RC Roscoe, Ali, Ali Cheeseholm. Live, no hockey tonight. Well, not for Russians. Definitely not for Russians. Charlie B from Pacific Beach, as usual. Howdy. Mad Russian news are good news, says Multi-Ducky. Good evening from Hungary. John, howdy, howdy. We have 2 super chats from Lena Axelson. Thank you so much. And there is a huge super chat from Jason Carney. Jason, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the champion of super chatting here. Number 1. Mark Bramlett from Jacksonville, Florida, where it is windy and cloudy today. Well, it's the day of Mad Circus Russian news. Go figure. Even in Jacksonville, it's cloudy and windy. Bob S, howdy, howdy. Jeffrey S. Jennifer, Lisa, Daniel McInnes, thank you from Canada. Thank you from Tashkent. Greg Lewis from Gloucestershire, UK. Jill B. Graham 1971. Coventry, UK here. Janice Burgess. Friends, I'd like to make a little announcement before it goes too far in the comments. I gave a second interview to Silicon Valley. No. Silicon Curtain. That's the channel where Jonathan accumulates interviews about Russia and everything connected to Russia. So I'll give you a link after the stream. Go check it out. It's going to be in the community post. And Whitney, I read today that the Indian company that was shipping Russian oil was caught out and shut down this week. One of them was caught and shut down, and there's a task force seeking for companies that are breaking the embargo rule and prosecuting them. So that's going to be happening more and more. Easy Tiger 10 question: might China go for outer Manchuria when it knows Russia is defenseless? Not might, it will go. China would be absolutely crazy not to go. Knowing the Chinese plans for expansion, and knowing the Chinese, they are already printing maps where it says, Manchuria part of China. Timothy Robinson, welcome to Inside Russia. Fantastic you joining. Thank you. Emporium, etc. There is dark humor inherent in irony. Definitely agree with you. Yanja, Yanya. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry. From Croatia. Thank you, friend, for coming. Roy Cousins. Andrew Hodson. Greetings from South Africa. It is tragic in its funniness. Okay. Well, I think so too. It's at the same time tragic and funny. Harry M. Hey, Mr. K, we learned about the 5 year plan and how bad it was in the middle school. It's crazy to see it return. It's even crazier for me to see it return than for you because I lived through it. I know you only saw it in school. I lived through it. My parents, my grandparents lived through the 5 year plans. It's sheer madness. It's definitely mad circus news. I don't. What he's is he really drinking or smoking or taking or whatever? Ferrari guy, howdy howdy. Viking, what do you think of what the president of the Kazakhstan said to Putin about nukes in Belarus? Um, I missed that. I'm sorry. I did not watch much of the news today. Aspen English, howdy. Constantine, where is the Ivan Hers? Ivan Hers? What is Ivan Hers? Joe's Rames, I'm sorry. That's went past me. I didn't catch it. Sorry. Michael Judd, howdy. Palm Tree Kate from the UK. So many palm trees in the UK, I've been there. I saw that. Thank you so much for your kind words. Anarchy. Wow. One of the first patrons on my channel. Again, thank you so much. I remember quite well. Rural Minnesota, I still remember. Thank you so much. George Roberti, definitely Mad Circus, propaganda in high gear. Yes, thank you, George. Pamela J, can we go back to seeing your playing around with the microphone before you start talking? We have no ads, and yet you are already talking by the time we get allowed to the stream. Pamela J, look, there is a problem here. What happens is if I give it 40 or 50 seconds, I play with a microphone, I drink, then a lot of people who come after the live is over, they start seeing me speaking nothing and they don't see ads. And they cut off from the stream. They go someplace else. And if I fix that by shortening the stream, cutting out that empty part of 40 or 50 seconds, then something happens to the audio of the stream. And the audio track does not meet the visual track. And I say nonsense. So I don't really know what to do. I deliberately started, jumping and started talking faster and see how it works, I have a dilemma. I don't know what to do at this point. Thanks for the feedback, though. Raichen H, terrible situation. All of the exchange of knowledge and friendship gone in just 1 year. So sad. Well, exchange of knowledge, mostly. Exchange of friendship gone. No, not all friendship is gone. You can count, you definitely can count me, can trust me on that. Not all friendships are gone. Many are true, but not all. KG1, howdy. Thank you so much. I'm still amazed that NASA Roscosmos relationship still appears to continue as if nothing ever happened. I understand why. Topic's so important and so complicated. You cannot just cut out in the middle of something. It's like doing a heart surgery, open person up, and two surgeons working together, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of this procedure, one surgeon would just say, "Hey, I'm pulling out." You can't do that. No matter what happens between you, you have to finish at least, And I think that's what happening with Roscosmos and NASA. Michael Yukon, howdy. Always interesting news we don't usually hear here in Vegas. Cheers, my friend. I think all you hear in Vegas is cha-ching, 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 is people winning money all the time. Black Cat, thank you so much for gifting sponsorships to 5 people. I appreciate that. And Amir, thank you, friends. Tomorrow, there will be, definitely will be as usual, private stream for sponsors and patrons. I'm not sure about the stream about food or cooking. That's still not decided. I'm not sure about that. Tomorrow is a tough day, but there will definitely be a stream for all the sponsors and patrons at the usual time. And Jason Carney, thank you also for 5 gifts of sponsorship. And Michael Yukon, George Rames, thank you so much. 5 memberships. Thank you. And Julie W has just joined the suit. Thank you so much. 5 people have become sponsors, 25 altogether. Courtesy of you, 5. Thank you. Jim Flag, almost 3,000 people viewing, 2,700. That's actually pretty good. That's a small stadium, if you think about it. Mr. Mists, well, that 7-year chip plan is impossible. No one country makes advanced CPU, GPU chips. It's made by, I think, 5 or 6 countries, and I absolutely agree with you. That's why I think that is definitely Mad Circus news. Vladimir, give us some of that you're drinking. We will also believe it's possible, at least until Saturday morning. It's Friday night here. China is an enemy to everyone, as is starting down a lot of economic issues and an ever-increasing need for natural resources. They will move on Russia in the future. It fits right into the long-term goals. Thank you, friend. I couldn't have said better myself. Except for it's not the enemy to everyone. But I would say this. China has own interests that differ from the interests of everyone else. I cannot say it's an enemy, okay? I'd say that it has different values and different interests. Amir, 10 more people. Thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. You have just made me and 10 more people happy. Cryptominter, thank you so much for wonderful words. Linda Doswell, howdy, I think China will try and take their old land back because they need more space and Russian army has been shown as weaker. They see an opportunity. Linda, couldn't have said better myself. I've repeated that many times. Veronica, howdy. Certainly sounds like circus stuff. How can anyone take Russia seriously while Putin is killing Ukrainian neighbors? And it's really hard to disagree with you. Nottinghamshire, England, Super Rosie is here. Richard, D. Oka, hello, big guy and Moss from Tampa, Florida. Not surprised about the China news. Richard, thank you so much for coming. Howdy. Any thunderstorms in Tampa right now? I heard it's like the thunderstorm capital of the world. Just Terry, howdy, thank you for coming. I've tried to follow your footsteps today. Bring in some humor. Rainmaker 39, they must know that withholding financial data tells the world that it's really bad. They don't care. They know that, but they could care less. I think they just care for Russian people not getting their hands on that data. Dave Strains, hope your Friday is going well. Thank you, friend. It's going. It's going. Stream is good. Amir, I left my RNA out of the Porsche and it rained. Big pile of rust like Lada Oka. Now I need Moskvich electric car. A good one too. Denkin, the real tragedy is that whatever crazy he does, Putin's position remains safe. I beg to disagree. This is what is seen to us from, from above, so to speak. But his power and like what's going on around him is like an iceberg. 4/5 of the iceberg is not seen. It's underneath the surface, and just 1/5 is seen. The same thing. We can see what's happening on top, but we don't know what's happening on the bottom. You know what Russian politicians, when they fight for power, you know how they look like? That's Winston Churchill said, not me. He said that when we look at the Russian politicians and the Russian power groups, it's the same thing as if take a carpet, take a few bulldogs, put them underneath the carpet, and just see what's going on there, and try to make wild guess what's happening underneath the carpet. And I agree with him very much. Andreas Benz, Birch Punk, the vision of Russia roboting, watch on YouTube. Birch Punk. I saw a video called Cyberpunk, if that's what you meant. That's not gonna happen. Gary Moore, it's the ship Ukraine hit yesterday. I'm not sure what you're saying. Ivan Hurst. That's that. Yeah, okay, I get it. The ship. I don't know if it's sinking or not. I have not heard the news. I've heard the news that it's been hit, but I have not heard the news that it's sinking. Multi-Daki 5-year plans were also in the GDR. Of course they were. This is a satellite of the USSR. Wise, thank you. I got it now. And Matt Blazer 89, thank you. This is like the 5th time I receive a membership gift. 6 times if I include the time when I offered 5 and I was one of the receivers. I will give back to the community once payday comes. Thank you so much, Matt Blazer. I appreciate it. Thank you. Absolute blue skies here today in Illinois, USA. Dave Strains, blue skies and hot in Tashkent. Now every day until September. Shout out to our AI bot, Nightbot legend. That's funny. That's Friday. Today is the day of humor. You know, we should make Friday streams a little lighter than the usual ones. William Ashley, thank you so much. Thank you. Mammy K, congratulations. Now a sponsor of Inside Russia, courtesy of Black Cat. Faith Russert, Scott Nesbitt, all familiar faces. Simon Eddy, and Whitney. Believe it or not, but in one of those past streams when a gift of membership was given, it was given to none other than Yevgeny Prigozhin, who was quietly watching my stream And then he was exposed. Boom. Probably a KGB officer watching it. And Whitney, the USA is helping Ukraine for 5% of its budget, and no Americans are fighting. It'll be interesting to see how Mark Miley's replacement handles things. Miley retired. We'll see. The ship propaganda is going on high gear about it being undamaged. That's what I heard, Mr. Mists. Pamela J, the diabetes was one of my favorite. Happy weekend. Thank you. Amir, the legend at work. Agreed. Oh, look at that. Natasha. Howdy, howdy. Natasha from the Emerald Land, from the West Coast, USA. Please pray for Diana Arbenina. Will do. Will do. Yeah, of course I know who Diana Arbenina is. Ночные снайперы. I have not heard of her fall, but I will put her on a prayers list. There you go. Thank you, Natasha. Prayer taken. Well, a name taken. Russia can't even provide the army with food and water, let alone insulin. Rainmaker, you didn't understand what I said. It has no intentions to provide insulin. It doesn't care. It cares for people, for the bodies to go and serve. Insulin or not, it's none of their business. It's person's business. It's person's health, you know. That's what my point is. That's not American army we're talking about. Providing insulin. Viking, you need to see what Kazakhstan said, because I think Putin is very angry now. Okay, I will definitely see. Not right now, but right after the stream. Thank you. You drink a lot of tea. You need a novelty toilet office chair. Sam K, you know, I can hold, no problem. But I do drink lots of tea, and you should have seen the tea that I drank before the stream. You know what? I can do without a novelty toilet seat. Brian Crook, howdy. Joe James. Pavle Flex, what about the countdown? The stream starts in... I don't like countdowns, but you know what? What I'm gonna do is I will make a community post so people could give me feedback. I think those countdowns are corny. Republic Ridge, greetings, Texas. I know who you are, Republic Ridge. Howdy, howdy. Hope everything is going well for you. By the way, how is sound right now? I fixed it up a little bit, turned it up, so it should be loud enough because a few people said that it wasn't loud. Stu Annan says good, thank you. Sound is good, thank you, friends. Warren, a little late, you're just in time. News is crazy on both sides. Jay is here. Stuart Mackenzie, hi from Ukraine. Keep telling the truth, Kostya. Perfect. Respect always. Thank you, Stuart. Warms my heart. Someone from Ukraine coming in and commenting and giving positive feedback. Thank you. Rainmaker39. Have a nice breakfast tomorrow, Constantine. I look forward to learning something from you every day. Today, education comes with a smile. I tried. Thank you so much. Thank you for support. You can count on me continuing doing that. Daniel McInnes, how do you gift sponsorships? I don't know. I think there's a button down below says send gift sponsorship. Michael Yukon, thank you for mentioning the mods and the job that they're doing. It's fantastic. Ben Woodruff, wonderful to see you again. You too. No question, but love your work. Thank you so much. Very heartwarming. Thank you. Joe's dreams. Amanda, howdy. Probably going to miss a week of streams, traveling to help my grandparents. Going to tell them about the community prayers and try to tune in. Please do. You're always going to be with us. We will pray for your grandparents. Jim and Shirley Hall, I remember. Good luck with your travels. Mama, two boys. Memberships are flying. Yes, they are today. Rich Rebuilds channel. Good afternoon. Watch Rich Rebuilds channel. I like the name. It's pretty self-explanatory, okay? What do? You watch Rich Rebuilds channel. Angela. Yeah, I guess it's a payday. Jane, USA needs China and China needs USA. That's true. So far, China and USA has worked out some kind of a balance, so benefited both countries. The question is what the future holds. Ann Larson, still have some payment issue with YouTube with my membership. Should be automatic. It refuses or it charges much. Please let us know. Alec McKenz, China doesn't have friends, just business acquaintances. They have lost a big part of US, the market, and it's still trying to drum up business with Russia. Hard to disagree with you. There's no battle, Dirk. It's a friendly encounter. Time is up, says Nightbot. Thank you. Gonna be wrapping up soon. Do not post Z. Who posted Z? Please do not post that. That letter is not welcome here in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent, and definitely is not welcome on the stream and in this community. Famous Mainer, howdy howdy. Welcome to the circus. High five for the angels of Inside Russia. Some popcorn to share. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you. Linda, thank you so very much. Fantastic words. You know what? Words, money is important. You know, this I get plenty of financial support, but more important is the words because they they make me feel so good, you know. Thank you for wonderful, wonderful. It's like reinforcement that what I do is right, and people enjoy watching me, listening to me, and thank you. That's very, very, very hugely important to me. Richard, do you like coffee, big guy? Yes, I do. I drink it in the morning, usually double cappuccino, 1 cup. What the heck got into Rudy yesterday? Even lost louder than usual. I don't know. Sounds like you congested. No, I'm not. Probably something I got real close to microphone, so it's louder. Perhaps, perhaps that's why. You can sing in the first minute of the stream. Dirk, this has been officially the worst advice someone has given me in this community in the time that I stream and I make videos. Just imagine what happens if I start singing when I open the stream. The only people that will be watching me will be parents who are trying to scare their children. That's it. Everyone else would be just like, so no, thank you, but no thank you. Wolfhound 26X, updated name from Terry McConnell to Wolfhound 26X. Okay, thank you for information and thank you for your support a lot. Interesting name, Wolfhound 26X. Russian AI is a magic 8 ball. Susie, hard to disagree with you. Get a Putin seat because you Putin sometimes down the. That's real funny, you know. Oh my. It's even better than the special office toilet chair. You guys are just erupting with funny jokes, you know. Veronica, watch Simon Cowell. Don't sign you up, Constantine. Jim Flag, you sing Happy Birthday well. You calling that well? Well, Happy Birthday is all I sing, and it's far from well, you know. Okie dokie. All right, folks. Time to wrap it up. Thank you so much. It's been a really good week. Very event-packed week. Tragic. Every single week is tragic these days because of the war still happening. But, you know, you can count on me showing up the next week and the week after that and so forth. Tomorrow will be a private stream. No promises for anything else for another stream. I'm trying to organize, but it's not still up in the air. Special Saturday pin stream. What's a pin stream? Anyway, that's my army call sign from 27th Infantry, Russian Wolfhound. Okay. Thank you for explaining. When you start a stream, spend a minute brewing your tea. We will understand. All right, thank you, folks. Let's pray. Please join me in prayer. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming today, and let's pray. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day and this week. Thank you for putting food on our tables and roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and raise them in a way that when they grow up, they will make this place a better world and they will do a better job than we have done. They will never be engaged in any wars. Please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help Ukrainians. Help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and do necessary actions. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people responsible and capable of making a decision. Please fill their hearts with love, fill the brains with wisdom and common sense so they wake up from the lethargic sleep of last 15 months and make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please do that, dear Lord. Please help everyone who has been affected in Ukraine. Send them help, send them strength, answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please send every single person in Ukraine an angel so the angels will work extra hard to keep everyone out of danger, away from harm's way. Please help my country, Russia, assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords led by Saint Michael and send it to the earth to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Have angels run Russia and make it right. Please send safe travels to everyone who is traveling and is in trouble right now. Please send help to everyone who is claiming asylum, running away from bad people. Please help everyone who is hungry, homeless, jobless, sick, depressed, with low self-esteem, losing his or her faith. Please shine your heavenly light on everyone in that position so people will feel your love, will feel warmth around them. They will feel good about themselves again, and they will have a chance for happy life. Please help all the single mothers who are raising children and making ends meet. Send help to them and send angels. Please give us all peaceful skies above our heads. Please help all the people of Ukraine who are suffering from the strikes right now. Without electricity, without necessities, please send help their way and please bless and help those who are helping Ukrainians, opening their wallets, homes, hearts, and minds for them. Thank you for bringing us into this community. Thank you allowing us to create and maintain this community. Thank you for all the help uh, in the relationships and bonds that have been formed here. Thank you for allowing us to come together and pray every day. Thank you for that. And please help everyone who is praying along with me or who just simply watching us pray. Make their wishes come true and the prayers answered. Dear Lord, I would like to mention a few people who need your help. Please help them. They are Greg, Jim and Shirley Hall, Delaney and her two daughters, Ann Larson, family and daughter Hannah, Florentina, Max family, Patty L., Sherry Morin, CKOC, Brian Wilkes, Amir Uncle Sticky, Liz Dumbrell and her grandparents. Thank you for helping Matthias. Thank you for bringing him home. Ripted, daughter Aspen English, Ruth, Alona and her boys, Paul, Susan, Rudy Kaisley, Darla, Bip, Santa's Whiskey, White Lightning, George Ruberty. Thank you for shining your light upon him and touching his heart. Dave Strains, Pam, Margaret, Linda Trombley, RT, Per, Sarah Stokes, Diana Arbenina, Wayne, Shirley, Debbie, Jen Allen, Finola, Lars Henrik and Lars Henrik's mother, the Highwayman, Essie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Choriz and family, David Porter, his family and his daughter, his wife, and all people in Chernovtsi, Ukraine. Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Lazarus, Buzz Simon, Alvin's sister, Teresa D. Ansley. Please help Alvin with his eye health. Outlander, Garcia Castellanos, Terry Carter, Joe and Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Deanna and her family, Bree's friend, Caroline, Albina Fell, Michael Yukon, Joel Life, Karine Vasseur, Pamela J., Daniel 9, Lindsay, Larry, Brittany S., Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Karen, Janine, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Paul Beans, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler, Linda, Terry, Richard Burris, Angelica Life, and Scan Family's grandson, Barb, Randolph, Nelly, Arkady, and Yuri from Mykolaiv, Harry's family, Verlinda's niece, Ian James, Doug, Gaby Hyman, Donald, King Nero, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade Kaltenberg, Alice and Dave Moyers, Maureen M. and her sister, Mr. Hanson, Heidi, Bob, Matt, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner, his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Cumbrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Amy, Treasure, Kyle's wife, Grace Philosophy, please send her recovery, shine her light up, your light upon her, and please do so for her family and wonderful grandchildren. Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and Sergey, Susie Myler, Gina, Wayfarer, AMS paramedic Liz, Lori Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, Thomas Fall's mother, and I would like to ask for a few special children. They're Coulter, Sebastian, Cadence, Theo, Marty, Maverick, Ansley, and Karine Vasseur's niece. Please send them recovery, send their families, parents strength. Also asking for all children of Ukraine who have been put into harm's way. Please help them. Do not leave them. Shine your light upon them. And please help all the Russian children who have been affected. Please send recovery to all children in the world who are not feeling well. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you so much, friends. It's been a tough, eventful, but good week. Thank you so much for coming. You're absolutely fantastic. You're awesome and you rock always. And I would like to invite you, sponsors and patrons tomorrow to join for a private stream, the usual private stream. And before I sign off, I would like to invite you to say out loud with me the usual, Carthago delenda est.